Welcome back to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert, and by now you know Rachel, because you've seen the first episode where we identified a little about what we're doing and where we're headed in this process of collaborating, which I'm extremely excited about, because I think, as I've told you, I have felt a little bit out on an island, right? From a research perspective, my work was really out of the box, is really out of the box. And in a PhD world, man, was it just, I was the weirdo. And, you bring this now out, and yes, I get the fancy PhD letters, and that's great, to have that. It's all formalized. However, what does it mean? And, it's been great to work with the community I've been working with. However, it isn't until my word of the year is co-create. Other groups hear it and go, I see that, I hear that, yes, and that's the gift I feel you've given to me with this opportunity, is to yes and I want to first express gratitude, and secondly, dive into what you think or feel or hope maybe either you and or the people will get from this process.
I believe it will, like I had mentioned before, like deepen the social bond. It creates a supportive and inclusive, safe environment to allow our participants, I call them dancers, find a unique way of expressing themselves, and develop a voice through narrative-based exercises, because we do movement-based exercises, but we also try to use our voice with facial masking and issues with vocal projection. We use our voice, and so it's based on sort of fundamental neuroscience. Is the more stimulus that you can engage your activities in, it fires more cognitive synapses in the brain, at the same time creating those bonds with who's in the creative process together. So it's kind of a win-win, body, mind, spirit.
I love the idea. You keep bringing up the bonds and the neuroplasticity, which, people who watch are pretty familiar with, and that we have the connections internally, and then we start sharing them, externally, both with people here on the stage, with you guys as co-creators from, a long time dance background, and then with an audience, right, to extend it even further and bring it out there. All of those things are very exciting, because I don't think, in my experience, that people who look at Parkinson's, they see it in one really flat way, right? Mm-hmm. And again, the line there tends to be the old hunched over white guy. And as if that was the entire Parkinson's experience. And to take nothing away from old hunched over white guys who have Parkinson's, like my father, it's just not the whole of the experience, because what that tends to elicit is pity. And my dad, as a man who's 23 years into his diagnosis, the last thing he wants is pity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're giving agency, you're giving creativity, you're giving kind of, this map is a map to move forward into a new life, it sounds and feels like to me.
Yeah. And also, if you think of a map, there's also a journey. It's like, well, I might start here, but I'm not sure where I'm going to end up. But if you're willing to go on that journey, there's a transformation going to happen. Yeah. So that's why I think our two ideas can really work well togetger.
That beep will keep going, by the way. That is, if you've ever had an insistent son saying, "Daddy, Daddy." We'll get he knows that I'll pay attention in a moment. One more question in, which is your guys' approach, that one of them that I really appreciate, is that it's not standoff, like I've seen, not just with my program, but other programs, that it's like, oh, here's something, roll out the balls, good luck with it. That many of you, including you and other teachers, are taking the class too, so that you can experience the journey, as you said as well, so that you realize it's not my job to stand off and watch. It is, in fact, to participate, once again, to co-create. Is there a thought behind that? Because I think it's fantastic.
Totally. I feel like every time I step into our classes, I learn so much, not only about dealing with the symptoms of Parkinson's and on and off periods, but also how I interact as a teacher, what I'm offering, and keeping an open mind of really learning from what comes into the class. We do a lot of creative exercises, and something will hit, and I'm like, okay, that I didn't expect. The unexpected helps guide the class. And I think that's where the kind of the magic steps in.
That's-
Yeah.
yeah. That connection, to me, it goes fundamentally to the yes and, right? And the yes and isn't, it's not just singular. It's once again back to what we said, yes and of other people, yes and with other people.
Mhm.
So we'll continue this in just a moment. The fascinating stuff. Thanks so much, Rachel. See you in the next Daily Dose.